Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity with me, Cornish-Knight, as we press on into the asylum, looking for the man at the end of the corridor. I believe this is the person in question, is it not?
Just say the word.
A wily adolescent boy stands in the centre of a cell, gawkish and stoop-shouldered. He stares straight ahead, the occasional blink of his only movement, and it is unclear whether he registers your presence at all beyond his glassy, doll-like eyes. In this state, the barrier between your soul and his are thin and porous, easily bypassed if you should wish to reach out for his soul. You clear your eyes and edge forward towards the boy's soul. As you near, a sudden malaise comes over you. You are cold and warm all at once, sweating and shivering, streaming from the breach as you did on the caravan journey. The soul you approach is the wrong one, a parasitic plant that strangles its host. It is hereditary and pitiless, and you have crossed paths with it before. Too late does it occur to you to retreat and feel yourself plunging into some interminable abyss of thought and memory. You stand in the cell now, the same cell in the sanctorum. The halls are moonlit and empty, and you are waiting. At the far end of the ward, the door opens, revealing a flesh golem in silhouette beneath the stone archway. It makes its usual rounds, the same steps every time. The misbegotten child of the despondent creators. When the construct is close, you coil yourself up and spring forward, passing out of the boy's body as though it was a membrane. You can sense his body behind you collapse to the floor, a puppet whose strings are cut. You're rushing towards the golem now, bodiless as a gust of wind. Quickly, you think to yourself quickly, and you feel the strength of the homophic from your soul as you dart towards the makes abomination. You pass into the golem's cell and overtake the soul implanted within, encircling it, suppressing it, and contained in this new vessel you are strong again. You step heavy-footed down the corridor, unheeded by the other constructs, and scrutinized only by the wary, untrustworthy eyes of the mad, coming at last to an office piled with books and scribbled papers, and the perverse implements of animancy. You set your oversized hand on one of the machines, a nest of globes and tubes and coils, in the center of the room, and go to work bending wires and unsettling alignments. Your surroundings are pulled past you, or perhaps you are pulled past them, and they dissolve in a blur. When they settle into place again, you are outside on a clear day, standing in front of a crowd stacked high above you on the tier seats of an amphitheatre. You're acting for the crowd, standing deliberately still, but there is no play. A bald man with rodent-like features is strapped to your machine, the one that you are tampered with. You see your arm for the first time, short and fleshy, unmistakable that of a little girl, but this body is not truly yours. Your mind still holds the same determination, the same hardened heartedness as before. The body itself is cold and viscous. Unlike the others, this one has no soul of its own. The man speaks, and the crowd applauds with enthusiasm worthy of a hero's entrance. Bear witness, he says, and he pulls the lever. The machine shivers and sparks, and the bead of sweat rolls down inside the man's brow, but the crowd's apprehension quickly gives way to awe as the crystal globe fills with radiant mist that casts the entire theatre aglow. He opens a valve, and the glow grows through a tube along a length of copper wiring that runs the set of electrodes beneath your armpits. You feel nothing when it reaches you, as it should be, but you have been leading his work astray periodically for some time, altering notes and settling and playing puppeteer for the Hollowborn, but you make it look how people would expect it to look when a body is infused with a soul. In a moment, the machine goes dark, and the man unstraps you, eyeing you a scientist's concern. He looks back at the crowd. Behold, he says, but there is an absolute hesitation in his voice. Slowly you take the plodding step forward, then another. You look up at the man, giving him an eye contact which no Hollowborn is capable, and the crowd gasps. The man looks relieved. How do you feel? He asks at the volume meant for the crowd. At this moment, at the top of your lungs, you let out a piercing shriek. The man comes towards you, his hands outstretched, but you run the other way, back to the machine. With all your strength, you drive your head into the crystal globe. It shatters, striking your head with warm blood. You drive your head down onto the surface of the machine again, drawing panic screams from the crowd. And by the time the man reaches you, your body has already collapsed. You cease proper functions and merely twitches on the cold ground. Satisfied, you depart the corpse in search of another unsuspecting host who would put faith in animancy now. You are pulled again from your surroundings, transcending into the boundary of memories and lifetimes, deeper and deeper past betrayals and murders and lies upon lies that form the thick webbing of plots beyond mortal comprehension. You settle at last on a room you have seen before, expansive, with tall device encasing on an adrid monolith at its centre. The room is filled with people, and the people all look at the device. You are yanked suddenly back to reality, and once catatonic boy in the cell is directly looking at you, apprehensive, calculating. There's no mistaking now that the soul of the man who caused your awakening, that gazed out from the boiled husk, a watcher. You made me into a watcher, so I need you to undo it. I believe we share a common path. I'm just looking for some answers. Not just a watcher, someone who will break those frail little legs of yours if you do not exactly what I tell you. Is that so? He makes no effort to hide his disinterest, but he continues to search your eyes. He makes a slight grunting noise. His eyes soften for an instant. It seems for a moment that he recognizes you. He opens his mouth to speak, but then seems to think better of what he is about to say. His jaws tighten. I know your look, you hunger. The hunger for answers that elude you. It gnarls at your soul. It usurps your reason for being. You are like everyone. I will help you let go. He dodges backwards with startling grace, putting himself out of reach. On his face there is no malice, only the passion of a farmer putting down a sick animal. Then suddenly he slumps forward. Here we go. Just fantastic. It's a riot. Knew this was going to happen. Oh well. Time to get to work. Not yet. That's a lot of them. Okay, maybe it is time to use this ability then. Who's hitting me with that? Right, he's the possessed one. Go for him. Right. Now that he's down, we can do that. You can do... knock to the floor. That's going to plan. Get over there and deal with him. Right, we've got prison riot all over the place.
Just say the word.
Just fantastic.
Just say the word.
Right, get in here quick. Bucket reeks of offal. The chains grown with weight, crescent bite marks. Yeah, basically, this guy was there sabotaging the effects of animancy for some reason. Don't know why. Probably evil schemes of the mad. Or he's up to something. Let's see what the notes say. Man who waits. Right, subdues him. I've discovered that the patient Uskalim has been possessed by a man I've been searching for. He must be subdued so I can learn from him how I can be able to undo my awakening. Right.
Hey.
Come on then.
You're not.
Yeah. Death to our enemies! Death to our...
Right, kill him quickly. Right. My money's on the fact that he's probably gone after the doctor. Because that's probably the smart thing for him to do. So we need to expect every single person in here to be hostile. Okay, I expected more people, to be honest.
Just say the word.
What have you done? You have been experimenting on patients against this world, mangling their souls. I have witnessed this with my own eyes. You've been experimenting on patients against their will, mangling their souls. I have witnessed this with my own eyes. As was very strange. Of what little colour? How could you possibly look? It had to be done. Elstamore and the others. They took everything from me. Everything that when I was this close, I had to know. Where I failed and why. Imagine the value if I succeeded. I had something that could make all those hollow infants into something like a real person. And a few more patrons and a few years' research, who knows? No one has come that close with the legacy. It's why I have to continue, why I have to risk everything here working in secret. It's why I had to lie to Ellamore for me. Tell him you cleared me of all suspicion. If this means a chance to stop the legacy, then you have my silence. We'll see.
I trust that you'll do what's right for Deerwood. Don't hold everyone accountable for my mistakes.
Okay. What if the Hollowborn kept happening? What if generations upon generations dealt with this horror? It could all be stopped by sacrificing Theodorians on the altar of study, his face contorted to paint its pain smile. Then I can't argue with its ethical accounts. And I can't. Actually, he doesn't make a point, to be honest.
Not a problem.
If it's for the greater good, I can see why he would do it. Plus, it's not his fault. His initial test would have been successful if those people hadn't basically, if that jumping lunatic hadn't basically ruined it. So he's actually, yeah, he's. It's one of these hard ethical decisions that come up in science a lot, which is that it's basically how much are you willing to sacrifice to get the results you need. It's basically if the end justifies the means kind of mentality. I mean, it's not saying it's the right thing to do, but at the end, if the results end up being the right thing, then yeah, here we go. Right. So he's got to be in one and two places. It's either got to be in here. No, he's not. Then is he in here? Because he's obviously let them out for a reason. I thought he would have let them out because he needed a host.
Quick and quiet.
Great. So he's going to probably be a smackdown in here. The only place I can think is that casket that's in the bloke's room, the one that's got scratches marks on it. Because my money is that it's basically got his undead. It's probably got his daughter that's like him in it. Okay, so they're all out of the asylum. Just great.
Yeah.
Let's talk to him. The head warden must be told what's going on down here.
Just say the word.
Of course, I'm going to tell her. You're still looking at your notes? I'm getting out of here. I'm not safe anymore. Man, this is a mess. Head Warden Elfmore, what in blazes happened down there? You were given permission to ask questions. I had things under control until I killed Laden Key's spy, at which point he possessed the flesh construct. I had everything under control until I killed the Laden Key spy, at which point he possessed the flesh construct. Head Warden Evermore, you finished your explanation. Evermore breaks science. I have read accounts of people in history who could do what you describe. The accounts are few and brief and never reliable, but go as far to suggest that they are all the same person. If truly such a person who was here amongst us plotting our ruin, would that I had a body again, I could be on some real use in our time of need. I fear what the future may hold for this place. I am grateful you were able to dispatch the threat before those were loss of innocent life. We have nearly had another scandal on our hands. What of Azo? What part did his experiments play in this catastrophe? Azo was only trying to help the patients. The Laden Key took advantage of him. The Laden Key would have found a way to interfere with the Sanctorium even without Azo. If I hadn't come along, Azo's experiments would eventually resulted in another scandal. Azo was only trying to help the patients. The Laden Key took advantage of him. I should have known better than to isolate him. Of course, he would resort to deception. A wiser thing would have been to allow his experiments with close oversight. Of course, a mind like his must be allowed a chance to create. Right.
Good day, stranger.
I mean, to be honest, yeah, it's not a great solution, but at the same time, like, you can't really blame him. Like, he's trying to solve a really bad situation, and there is no good outcome. I mean, like, what is he supposed to do? Like, you have some really, it's just, what can you do?
Hail, traveler.
Beg my pardon, I have a message for you. You are summoned to Hadrat House, where Lady Webb wishes to meet as soon as possible. They say she's an ancient spider, spinning her nets throughout the city. He gives you a careful look. If she wishes to see you, there's either bodies very well. This either bodes very well or very ill. How do you know where to find me? Tell me about this, Lady Webb. Where can I find Hadrat House? How did you know where to find me? Well, it's Lady Webb. She knows everything. Tell me about this Lady Webb. Do you not know Lady Webb? She's no one's seen her exactly in a long time, but she's the mistress of Dunwood Row. Has been for as long as anyone can remember. He pauses, eyeing passers-by with suspicion. Quickly continues. She's supposed to be older than anybody. She never leaves her room. Some say she's waited away, and she just a pile of bones kept animated by dark magic. She's still at it, but everyone can tell, learning things, keeping us safe, pulling the strings behind the throne too, it said. Has a ring of ciphers doing her bidding, telling her everything that goes on. You do wrong in this country before you go asking the gods' forgiveness. Best you ask Lady Webb first. Where's Dunwood Row? A whole mess of ciphers run out of house. Hadrat House. They make it their business to keep the peace, but they don't like you seeing them do it. They don't like you seeing them do it. Problems in the city have a way of going away on their own. When that happens, you can make a pretty good guess as to why. Where can I find a house? Just over there, my lady. The southwest corner of Blackberry. The Hermit of Hadrat House. Right, so we need to talk to Hadrat House, the Hermit. Undying Heritage. Yeah, let's go to the Ancient Tower next. Because I don't want to do something that kicks off another chain event. Heritage Hill, perhaps. Or just, there's Heritage Hill we need to go to. Take us 30 minutes. Because we know how to get into the tower now. Right, find the tower, enter the tower. Sorry about that scrape on the microphone, folks. I'm pretty sure I know about who they're talking to. It's the woman up in the top. I know where the tower is, but I want to talk to her. Because I know that this woman here is the one that we need to talk to get into the building. Yeah, it's her.
You return. What if you come seeking
I saw you in a vision. There's something you need to do for me. See, else again, believe me.
Believe me, I've heard that line before. It's rude to stare, you know. Don't worry. I've no mind to start anything with you. After all, I've stayed in such good shape by choosing my meals carefully.
Okay.
Just say the word.
Do I have to kill her? I don't want to, but I will if she gets in my way. Creepy cannibal woman. It's very clearly that she's basically she's a ghoul. She's a revenant eating people. Right, so let's get this done. We took care of Heritage Hill. The tower's down here. We've got a sprint. Let's try and get this door open. Speak the words you learnt from the Laden Key Acolyte. You hear rumbles and clanks as the hidden tumblers of the door unlocks. We are inside the tower. What the? Ghouls. Lots of ghouls. And even more. The curse of cold clay added. The quest expires in 3 days. Okay. Well, first off, let's blast this guy with magic. You shoot him. Quickly. Target him. Pop your stamina thing. What's this? Durgle. It's like some kind of, it's like a revenant or a zombie or something.
Yeah.
Right. Stronghold event. A curse of cold clay. All across the Eastern Reach, people have been buried in graveyards and returning from the dead as vampires. Examinations by locals have revealed that the animals are tampered with several gravestones prior to the burial. Local lords have released bounties for the capture of whoever is responsible. Unfortunately, the rapid spread of the events have led many to believe that a group, not a single individual, is behind the experimentation. Go and take care of it. Lots of undead flesh. Right, science lab. crumpled pages from Adlam's journal, Trindig's letter. Dearest mother and father, you'll be pleased to hear that I have learned much already since coming to the city. There is many incredible ruins nearby, and Master Grigor allowed me to accompany him on a number of his expeditions. I am writing to him from inside an ancient Efwathan tower. There is an entire district built around it, but the locals have mostly left the tower untouched. They have let us set up temporary living quarters here so our work can continue uninterrupted. It is an unsettling place at times, but Master Grigor has been constant comfort, and he is quick to remind me that things we learned from this tower may one day help us find a cure for the legacy. I'd better get some rest now. Mr. Grigor likes to get up early start to the day. Day 7, a week of study, and we're still no wiser about the device. Trindig remains optimistic. I don't know what I would do without his spirit. Right. Skeletons. Lots of skeletons. Blasted with magic.
Very helpful.
Quickly gang up on it. Right. So we finished off those guys. Same old stuff. Patting the scratches old covered patting the scratchy old coverlet thickens the air with dust. No one has used this bed in weeks. Okay. That's the stairway up. I do love... Interesting. Debris, and there's money in it. Excellent. I do like the art, like the Efwathan art style. It is very, very pretty to look at. The mattress is lumpy and smells of old straw, but whoever slept here last made it neatly. Okay. Here they come.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a revenant. We had an AoE melee attack. Right.
Ready, Watcher.
Right, there we go. Right. There's the machine. Essence simmers and pulsates within the strange construct.
Not a problem.
Right. More notes. A page from Edlam's journal. Day 2. We have completed our measurements of the machine thanks to Trindig's youthful agility. Further examination is required to discover its intended use. Sid Wyland's farmer becomes god. I've already got that one. Some supplies. And we're going to be going up to the next floor. But I think this is going to be a good place to stop right now, folks. If you've liked, please press the like button. If you wish to subscribe, please press the subscription button. You can follow me on Twitter, you can follow me on Steam, or you can either comment in the comment section and I'll get back in contact with you. I've been Cornish-Knight, this has been Pillars of Eternity, and I shall see you all next time. Goodbye, folks.